Good morning everybody, this is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. Today is April the 10th and we're looking at 1 Samuel and chapter 19. In this passage it's very sad because Saul, in his mixed up thinking, he tries to murder David, and then later he tries to murder his own son. So Saul spoke to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. David was an innocent man. He'd only ever done that which was right in the eyes of the Lord, and he never wished to hurt Saul, never sought to do any injury to him whatsoever. And Jonathan's son delighted much in David. Jonathan saw David as a great man of God, a great warrior, but also a man after God's own heart. And Jonathan said to David, "My father wants to kill you, so therefore I say, take heed to yourself until the morning and abide in a secret place and hide yourself. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, and I will commune with my father about thee, and see what I will tell thee." Now, Jonathan was able to persuade his father that David was a good man. And he spoke to his father and explained to him that the salvation that the Lord had brought to Israel, and which he rejoiced in, was something that was through David's godliness and through his military might and the power of the Lord. And Saul saw sense, and he said, "Yes, as the Lord liveth, he will not be slain." And Jonathan called David and showed him all these things, and Jonathan brought David to Saul, and he was in his presence as he was in times past. So there are times when relationships can be mended, and Jonathan was one of those great men of God who was able to bring about unity and restoration between brethren. So Jonathan brought David to Saul, and then we find that David went out and fought against the Philistines and slew them with a great slaughter, and they fled from him. And an evil spirit of the Lord came upon Saul again as he sat in his house with his javelin in his hand, and David played with his hand, and Saul sought to smite David even to the wall with a javelin. But again he slipped away from his presence, and he smote the javelin into the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. And David also sent messengers to Saul's house to watch him and to kill him in the morning whenever he surfaced. And Michal, David's wife, told him, saying, if thou wilt not save your life tonight, tomorrow then you will be slain. So she took an image and laid it in the bed, and put a pillow of goat's hair for the bolster, and she covered it with a cloth. And when Saul's messengers came, she said, "He is sick." So they went back to Saul to say that David was sick. But Saul said, bring him in his bed, that I may slay him." Such is the wickedness of a man, even in his worst moments. When the messengers came in, they found that it was just an image in the bed, and they'd been tricked. And so David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel in Ramah and told him all that Saul had done. And they went and dwelt together at Naioth. And Saul sent messengers to David. When they saw the company of the prophets prophesying, they also prophesied. You see, godliness can be contagious. So the Spirit of the Lord came upon them, and they prophesied. And so Saul said, "Send some other messengers." But they also prophesied when they came. So Saul sent some more messengers, but they also prophesied when they came to Samuel. And so Saul decided that he would go up. And when he went up, it says, the Spirit of the Lord was upon him also, and he went on and prophesied. And so it became a proverb in Israel to this day, which was, "Is Saul also among the prophets?" Chapter 20 is one of these famous passages in which Jonathan helps David to escape from Saul. David flees from Naoth in Ramah and comes and says to Jonathan, "What have I done? What is my iniquity? And why is my sin before thy father, so that he wants to kill me?" And Jonathan says, "You won't die." David says, "As my soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death." One step between me and death. David was grieved, greatly grieved, that Saul wanted to kill him. And then we have this curious incident where David and Jonathan make a covenant with the house of David, and he says, "Let the Lord even require it at the hand of David's enemies." And Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him. He loved him as he loved his own soul. And so there's a great bond of affection between these two mighty men of God. And Jonathan said to David, "Tomorrow is the new moon and you'll be missed because your seat will be empty. And I will give you a secret signal. And the signal will be that if I shoot 3 arrows and they fall short of the target, then you will know that you are to come into the banquet. But if I shoot 3 arrows and they go beyond the target, then you will know that you are to be sent away, that you might escape for your life." And David's place was empty, and Jonathan stood up for Saul in front of his father, and Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan. And he said unto him, "Thou son of the perverse, rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion, and to the confusion of thy mother's nakedness? As long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, you will never have the kingdom." And so this is one of the reasons why Saul wanted to kill David, because he was a threat to his own dynasty, and he couldn't give the kingdom to Jonathan because David would take it. And so Saul cast a javelin at Jonathan to kill him, and Jonathan got up and realized that this was the end for David. If he was prepared to kill his own son, then there's not going to be a place for David in his kingdom. And so he went to the field and he shot the arrows, and the lad ran and he shot the arrows beyond the target, and he shouted, "Make haste, make speed, haste and stay not." And David arose out of his place, and he fell on his face to the ground and bowed himself 3 times, and they kissed one another and wept with one another until David exceeded. You see, David's grief was inconsolable. He could not understand why there could not be a restoration between himself and Saul. So a very sad passage indeed, and we see something of the breakup of relationships that can occur even amongst those upon whom the Spirit of the Lord comes. And my password is found in verse 17. It says, "Jonathan caused David to swear again because he loved him, for he loved him as his own soul." Isn't it wonderful when brethren dwell together in unity? Well, God bless you. Great to speak to you, and look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.